All this chasing after Aethys, it's brought back memories of the Saints' War. Just how scared everyone was, mostly. Everybody put on a brave face, made all these claims about what they'd do when they met a god in battle. There was no sadder sight than a group of us talking big, trying to outdo one another. Even the fella that led us, he used to say he knew all these different ways you could kill a god, if you were so inclined. Of course, at night he'd grind his teeth so hard it sounded like he was chewing rocks, in case you were curious if he really had it in him. We'll probably both have some scary-looking smiles before long. Point being, the prospect of facing a god makes cowards of most all of us. And now, here I am again, on my way to meet Aethys. Some ways I feel the same. Edgy, sick in my gut. But it's different this time. Might be because of you. Maybe, but you wear it well. You could have let it all end back at Cadnua, or even Gilded Vale. But you're still going, even knowing where we're headed. Haven't forgot who you are. There's part of me thinks we aren't gonna make it out of this. When I get to thinking like that, it helps to remember how you've held together. What do you think? We gonna survive all this? Whether or not I believe it, I like it just the same. I go back and forth myself. Every time we see one of those big footprints, it reminds me not to get too excited. There's a good chance we die out here, halfway across the world from anywhere I ever called home. But if I can face it like you, maybe it doesn't matter. Sure, all kinds. Respect, curiosity about your watcher senses, confusion, a lot of that. Oh, you mean, well, I'm real fond of you, in case I wasn't clear. But in terms of stronger feelings, I only ever really think about girls that way, is the biggest part of it. And since I was old enough to chase after them. And then there's the fact that I'm still stuck on some things that happened a long time ago. I wouldn't be much good to you anyway. Maybe in another life. You'd be the first to know. And I hope you don't think less of me. I like what we got going here. It's closer than I've been to anyone in, I don't know, ages. I'll tell you what, though. I'm not one for big promises. But I'm gonna beat up as many people and monsters as it takes to get you your life back. You got my word on that. Well, I'm real fond of you, in case I wasn't clear. But in terms of stronger feelings, well, you're an Orlin, unless you're just real short and furry. I know it's not right of me to say it, and I know you're different. You gotta understand. Growing up in the Deerwood, you just didn't mix with Orlins. Didn't meet many, and when you did, a lot of times it was bad news. I never met hardly any myself, but you'd hear stories. Over time, that's what you had to go on. Knowing you now, I got two different notions of what an Orlin is. And they're both just kind of swimming around up there. I do think a lot of you. That's what I've been trying to say this whole time. But even knowing it might not be right to think those things about Orlins, I can't change how I feel. Maybe in another life. Don't get me wrong. You feeling that way, if that is how you feel, that means a lot. And I hope you don't think less of me. I like what we got going here. It's closer than I've been to anyone in, I don't know, ages. Well, I'm real fond of you, in case I wasn't clear. But in terms of stronger feelings, I haven't felt much that way about anybody in a long time. Doesn't cross my mind hardly. That's nothing to do with you. That's things I never sorted out from way back when. The lava, well, she was part of that. It's like I'm still waiting for something that was never gonna happen. Maybe in another life. you'd be the first to know.